Emma hid behind a tree with fear and her heart pounding. The creek whispered beneath the bridge, a thin ribbon of moonlit water slicing the night. Emma stood trembling, her breath fogging the air as Mr. Harris stepped closer, his eyes heavier than she had ever seen them. She barely recognized him. His voice carried the weight of sleepless nights and things he wished he could forget. "Emma," he said quietly, "I didn't disappear. I hid." Emma swallowed hard, her words shaky. "From them?" Mr. Harris nodded slowly. "They show up for one person on every street. Always one. When they choose someone, they watch them for weeks. Months. Sometimes years." His eyes flicked toward the three faceless figures frozen at the edge of the bridge. "They follow. They mimic. They learn routines." Emma's skin crawled. Her voice cracked. "Why me?" Mr. Harris exhaled, and the sound felt like something breaking inside him. "Because you noticed them." He lifted a trembling hand and pointed back toward the quiet houses, the dark windows, the still street. "I saw them the morning you waved at me from your window. They were standing across the road, behind the Doyle house. You didn't see them. But they saw you look in their direction." He paused. "Once you notice them, even by accident, they mark you." Emma felt the world tilt. She grabbed the railing to steady herself. "And the notes?" she asked. "The photos in your study? The warnings?" Mr. Harris shut his eyes briefly, as if admitting the truth cost him something. "I was trying to track their movements. I thought if I understood them, I could stop them. But every time I got close, they changed patterns." His gaze darkened. "The moment they stepped onto my porch, I knew the mark had shifted. They weren't watching me anymore." He stepped closer, his face grave. "They were watching you." Emma looked at the faceless silhouettes across the water. They stood perfectly still, like statues that had forgotten they once were shadows. She shivered. "Why can't they cross the water?" Mr. Harris shook his head. "No one knows. But they can't cross running water. It's the only boundary that stops them. It saves one person, but traps the marked one outside their home." Emma's heart sank. "Traps me, how?" Mr. Harris hesitated. When he spoke, his voice cracked. "You can't go back to your house. If you step over that bridge, they'll follow you. They'll keep following until the night they finally take you." The truth hit like a cold wave. Emma suddenly realized something else. "You can't go home either," she whispered. Mr. Harris looked away, his gaze drifting to the empty street behind them. "No. I can't. Not since the day I saw them watching your window. That's why I left the note. I didn't want you entering the house. I didn't want them shifting their attention because of me. I wanted to warn you before they chose you fully." Emma's eyes stung. "So what now?" she asked softly. "What happens to us?" Mr. Harris looked at her with tired, gentle sadness. "We keep walking. Away from the houses. Away from the streets they've memorized. We find other places, other people, others like us who've escaped the mark." He gave a faint, hopeful nod. "There are more of us than you think." Emma looked at the path stretching into the dark trees. It felt endless, unknown, terrifying. But the faceless figures remained frozen where the bridge ended, unable to step forward. For the first time that night, Emma felt the faintest spark of something, not safety, but possibility. She turned to Mr. Harris. "Do we have time?" she asked. He checked the shadows behind them, then offered a weary smile. "For tonight, yes. They won't move again until the next dawn." A breath of cold wind swept the bridge. The figures didn't react. Emma tightened her coat and took a step toward the forest path. Mr. Harris stepped beside her. "Emma," he said gently, "you're braver than you know. I've watched you face fear most people would run from. You noticed the watchers, and you didn't look away. She exhaled a shaky breath. Neither did you. Together, they walked into the dark trees, away from the marked street, away from the frozen silhouettes waiting for morning light. Behind them, the quiet neighborhood stood still, unaware, untouched. The watchers remained at the bridge, patient and silent. Waiting for someone else to notice. Waiting for a new mark. But Emma didn't look back. Neither did Mr. Harris. And the night swallowed them safely into its deeper shadows. That night, after walking a long distance, Emma and Mr. Harris stopped to rest. They lay down beneath the trees, but Emma could not sleep. Her mind refused to be at peace, though she pretended to be asleep. Mr. Harris thought she had drifted into a deep sleep, but he didn't know she was wide awake, listening. When Emma quietly opened her eyes, she saw Mr. Harris stand up and walk away. Curious and uneasy, she followed him silently. As she got closer, her breath caught in her throat. Mr. Harris was speaking to the three faceless figures. Emma hid behind a tree, listening, her heart pounding. She heard Mr. Harris whisper to them that they were going to take her that night, that Emma already knew too much, that she had learned their secrets, and she was the only neighbor who knew. Fear shot through Emma like lightning, and she realized Mr. Harris was behind everything happening around her house and neighbors. She ran. She ran for her life through the darkness until she reached a new neighborhood. Breathless and shaking, she searched for help until she found a police station. She rushed inside and reported everything to the security officers. When Emma returned with the police to Mr. Harris' house, they found him trying to escape. The officers caught him immediately and arrested him. At the station, under pressure, Mr. Harris confessed everything. He admitted he had been using the watchers to play twisted games, that he liked seeing people suffer. The messages, the unknown numbers, the warnings, all of it had been planned by him. Mr. Harris was thrown into a cell and later transferred to prison. Emma never returned to her old house again. She moved far beyond the neighborhood, choosing a new life where she could finally breathe. She rebuilt her piece by piece. And whenever Emma remembered the horrors she lived through, she whispered one promise to herself. Never trust anyone that easily again.